Imagine that you are a caretaker of an aquarium. You love and take care of the fishes inside. You also understand that for those fishes the aquarium is their world. In spite of all your care, the water in the aquarium gets polluted after some time. As a result, a fish starts falling sick. Now ask yourself what you might have done if you or some member of your family falls sick. You would have visited the doctor. So, you decided to take the sick fish to a doctor. The doctor, upon examining the fish, gave some tablets and told that the fish must take it for a week and will be cured. You become happy seeing that everything is getting all right. Since the water is still polluted, after some days the fish again falls sick. This time a little more serious. You didn't want to take a chance. So, you decided to take the fish to the best hospital in the city. The doctor advised admitting fish in the hospital for a few days. Some injections and medication did the magic again. He is all right and discharged from the hospital. You again dropped the fish into his house, i.e. aquarium. But again, after a few days, the fish got seriously ill. This time the general physician referred him to a specialist, maybe a diabetologist. And upon testing, the doctor revealed that the fish is diabetic and must take metformin 2 times a day for the rest of his life and everything will be perfect. You trained the fish and instructed him to follow the doctor's advice religiously. In spite of all the best efforts from fish and you, after some time the fish again fell ill. So, the basic question is, what do you do now? Where is the problem? I know by now you must have already guessed the moral of the story. The problem was never in the fish. It was polluted water. You simply have to change the water. Even the best doctor in the world will not be able to cure the fish. Trying to cure the fish without finding the cause of the disease is like chasing a mirage. Every time, it will appear that the cure is just nearby, but you will never be able to achieve it. In this process, you will drain your health and wealth as well. Sometimes, to understand the solution you may not need the ultra-scientific approach towards the problem but just common sense. Diabetes is not a disease where you may require the knowledge of advanced microbiology to understand the problem. It is just a specific homeostatic condition of the body which can be understood and corrected with a little common sense. To make the subject simple, let's take the analogy of an airport. Imagine the airport as your body and the passengers entering the airport are the carbohydrates or sugar that you eat. Now all the passengers called carbohydrates or glucose needs to be transported to their respective aircraft, that is the various cells of the body. The activity of transportation will be facilitated by the bus, the insulin of the body. Under normal conditions, there is a regular flow of passengers, the food. And simultaneously the passengers are transported with the arrival of a fleet of buses, insulin, to the respective aircraft, the cells of the body. The whole system works in harmony. This is called the homeostasis of the body, or, in this specific case, the glucose homeostasis of the body. Now imagine that everything is perfect in the airport except for the supply of bus, insulin, is stopped. What will happen? The passengers' food will get crowded at the terminal of the airport, whereas the aircraft will be waiting empty, craving for the passengers. This condition is called diabetes type 1. Where the body stops producing insulin, the bus. This means the airport authorities have to outsource bus services. That means a patient suffering from diabetes type 1 have to take insulin from outside source every time he eats food. Now, imagine that there is a regular supply of bus, insulin, but the door of the bus remains either fully closed or opens partially, making it difficult for the passengers to get in. This means very less number of passengers will be transported to the aircraft, that too at an extremely slow pace. This condition is referred to as diabetes type 2. Where the body is still producing and supplying insulin, bus, but it is not doing its job effectively. This means that the airport authorities have to hire some technicians and have to place them at the site of the terminal gate. That the technicians may help in opening the bus gate, so as to make the transportation of the passengers smooth. That's what diabetes drugs like metformin do. They increase the sensitivity of the insulin, so that it may work effectively and let the glucose molecules inside the cells. But it is not over here yet. Try to understand, in both the above conditions, It is a burden on the airport authorities as they have to either outsource the bus or hire the technicians on a continuous basis. That's what you can relate with the side effects of insulin or diabetes medication, such as blindness, amputation, kidney damage, heart attack, and brain stroke. Technically speaking, an average-size human being has roughly 5 liters of blood. And at any point in time, the amount of glucose which must circulate in the blood should be around 1 gm per liter. This means the total amount of glucose circulating in the blood will be roughly 5 gm. Upon testing, the glucometer will show reading as 100 mg (dl). Now if your glucometer is showing 200 mg per deciliter, that means per liter of your blood there is about 2 gm of glucose instead of 1 gm. At this point, it is important to understand that the body is not designed to tolerate too many fluctuations in the blood sugar level. Neither more nor less. What will happen if the blood glucose level is less than say 50 gm, half gm of glucose in per liter of blood? As you know that the blood glucose is the greatest and constant source of energy needed all the time by the billions of the body's cells. Now if the level goes down to 50 gm per liter, that means all the body's cell will not get enough energy supply for the proper functioning. As a result, most of the body's organs may not function properly. You may not able to see clearly or may even faint. Medically this condition is called hypoglycemia. On the other hand, if the glucose level shows 200 mg per deciliter or more in glucometer, this means more glucose is flowing in the blood circulation than the body could handle. This extra flow of glucose in the blood is medically called hyperglycemia. This extra glucose reacts with protein and forms a poisonous compound called advanced glycation end products, or in short AGE. Age makes the arteries hard, leading to high blood pressure, heart disease, and even become a major contributor to heart attack and brain stroke. However, how much should be the optimum glucose level depends upon many factors including age of the individual, body type, genetic makeup, geographical location,